So you've probably heard about gluten and that it's not very good for you, but the question is, what can you eat if you're not supposed to eat gluten? What I thought we'd do first is show a few foods that a lot of people don't kind of realise actually contain gluten, and then we'll give you some different options instead of these foods. So one of the first things, I'll grab that, is soy sauce. A lot of people don't realise that this actually contains gluten, so they kind of chuck it on their foods and don't realise that it does contain gluten. But soy sauce, you can buy gluten-free soy sauce, and you want to do that because, like I say, the average soy sauce contains gluten.
Now, this is actually a steak dressing. These sorts of things often can contain gluten, wheat products that you don't actually realise. You can get versions of these sorts of things that are gluten-free, so I suggest going for those, but just be aware of these are just things that you rub on meat, for example. So whilst you may be thinking, oh, I'm being really healthy, having meat and putting some spices on top, just be aware of everything that's in the actual ingredients.
And you can get gluten-free pretty
You can
easily.
get gluten-free very easily.
Now this is pasta, or spaghetti, sorry. You can get the spaghetti actually in gluten-free as well, but if you see it's white, it's very refined, it would be gluten-free, but it's the same situation in terms that it's very refined, so that's not going to be that great for fat loss. So just be aware that just by going to the same food that says it's gluten-free, because all the manufacturers do is take out the gluten and replace it with sometimes sugar, or very oftentimes sugar, that could have a detrimental effect. So you're far better to replace gluten-containing foods, you know, the pasta, spaghetti, all that kind of stuff, with natural products like sweet potato here. And I mean, this is pretty obvious that this is pretty much just taken out of the ground. It's not refined, it's not manufactured, it's grown and then taken out, so it's natural. It doesn't contain gluten because it naturally doesn't, but it's just far better for you and far better for fat loss than refined manufactured products.
So we've found that people that actually just replace the processed carbohydrates, like Mark says, with natural forms of carbohydrates such as sweet potato, quinoa and things like that, that they automatically will lose body fat straight away because they're not creating that inflammation in their body, and it's far, far superior for fat loss.
So not only is it gluten-free, but it's a lot better for your body in terms of insulin production, all the other hormone production. It's a lot better for fat loss, so you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. You're going to be losing fat, but also you're going gluten-free, so everything else that's affected by gluten, like Stephen says, the joints, your brain, your cognitive function, are going to improve as well.
And actually one good test you can do just to prove that we're actually talking sense here is have one meal where you're having a bowl of normal pasta, white pasta, see how you feel maybe an hour, 2 hours later, then note it down how you're feeling, then a day or two later have another meal where you're just having, say, a sweet potato as your form of carbohydrate in that meal, and then note down an hour or two later. I can guarantee that you'll feel a lot more energetic, a lot healthier, a lot less bloated when you're having the sweet potato. But do the test just to prove me wrong or right.